Hey everyone, Selena here. Selena Baca Crochet, founder, host, lead educator with the American Crochet Association. And I'm here today to go over an oldie but a goodie, a tip. It's a conversation that I've had a few times before, but I finally put all of my talking points together. I wrote an article. You guys can view the entire article when you click on the link in the video description. But I'm here to just kind of go through my favorite tips to get your crochet motivation back. The reason I put this together in an article is that I love that in the crochet world we are always having conversations on tips, tricks, how to do things better, things like that. As a pattern writer, as an educator, as an author, sometimes people go, "Hey, Selena, what do you do when you lose your crochet motivation?" And so again, this is a conversation I've had many times through the years. I actually just had someone send me an email recently, shout out to you, Kathy, and was like, "I've lost my crochet motivation. These are the things that I'm doing. I don't really know what to get it back. I don't know what to do to get it back. What's your advice?" So it was perfect timing because I was already working on this article, and it just really kind of made me put in questions that people ask, like, what is Crojo? I love crochet lingo, especially like that. What is I can't even say it. What is Crojo? How can you get inspired to crochet? A lot of people want to restore their crochet motivation, so it just kind of allowed me to put a lot of that in and put this article together. So if you guys are watching live, come on over, say hey, say hello, tell me where you're viewing from. If you guys have any questions on the topic today or your favorite tips to get your crochet motivation back, go ahead and post them. As long as I'm here live towards the end of this chat, I'm going to go through them, okay? I'm also going to have this available on the replay, so if you are watching on the replay, just participate like you're here live. Just go ahead and say hey, say hello, tell me where you're viewing from, and just, questions, comments, feedback, things like that. All right, before we dive into this, it looks like quite a few of you are here, so I'm going to give a shout out to Hetty. Hello, Hetty. So good to see you, Hetty Sanchez. Hello, Diane Krause. Good to see you. Kirsten Cox. Always a pleasure. Gail is here. Hi, Selena. Love your cute new summer haircut. Me too. It's fun and it just feels so effortless. So it's nice to kind of have effortless hair for the summer. Thank you for noticing. All right, so the title of this article, Get Your Crojo Back, 3 simple tips from a professional, that's me, to help restore your crochet motivation. Again, these are just my 3 favorite tips. I've been crocheting professionally since 2009, but before that, I crocheted since I was a weird little kid. So crochet has always been a part of my life. Before it was my profession, it was obviously my hobby. Now that it's my profession, sometimes I have to work on things. Sometimes I have deadlines and commitments, things that I have to do. So sometimes it's kind of harder to bring out my crochet imagination. So that's kind of me on this side. But, even if it wasn't my profession, I still feel that, crochet motivation, it might be lacking sometimes. And it could be lacking for so many different reasons, Maybe there are just hard things going on in our life, and mentally it's just you're doing other things. Maybe physically you're just doing other things. Maybe you're burned out. I mean, really, there could be so many different things going on. So, tip number 1, if you are feeling low on your Crojo, of course, is crochet motivation. Sometimes motivation is mojo, so Crojo, that's kind of where that comes from. Anyway, click on the link. It's in the article. More information is there on that. Tip number 1 is finish a whip. So the reason I say this is because I feel like a lot of people are like me. I am definitely the kind of person who has whip piles. So I have a pile of whips over there, I have a pile of whips over there. I've got a whip or 2 downstairs. So I just kind of, wherever I'm working on a whip, if I'm sitting on the couch, maybe it'll kind of go off to the side. If I'm crocheting in bed, it'll go off to the side. So I have whip piles, and sometimes, I accumulate these whip piles because I got bored with the project for whatever reason, or I got stuck. Maybe I didn't like something about it, or maybe there's something that I needed to do different. I was stuck in some way. Or maybe I just found something else that was new and shiny and more exciting. So those are some of the reasons that I have accumulated a lot of whip piles. So if I'm feeling low on my crochet motivation, one of the first things that I like to do is revisit all those whips. For a few reasons. Now, first and foremost, sometimes when I organize things, sometimes when I go through things, maybe I'll look at a project that's in my whip pile and I'm like, I am never going to finish this. This yarn needs to be something else. So I'll frog it, I'll take it out, I'll make something else. That could inspire, that alone could inspire me. Just kind of sifting all of my whips into one place, that sometimes inspires me. Or, more specifically, if you're looking to crochet something, sometimes I'll see a whip that I totally forgot about, and maybe it's seasonally appropriate. This has happened to me more than one time. Maybe I started working on a bag and again, got bored, got stuck, found something else, and I didn't finish the bag. So now it's like, man, I love this bag. I just had to put the handles on it, or I just had to seam it, or I just had to, I don't know, something, or oh, here's that sweater that I just need to sew in the ends and, crochet the arms for. Or, here's that blanket that I'm halfway done. Sometimes I'll see a project that I'm like, wow, I totally forgot about this. I'm so glad that I found it. I have to finish this. So again, just kind of, going through your whip pile, maybe you'll just kind of organizing it. That could help inspire you. Sometimes, again, whenever I'm cleaning up my area, when I'm cleaning up my stuff, I'm inspired to do something in that realm. Sometimes I will find projects and I'm like, I gotta frog this. This needs to be something else, and that's inspiring. Or again, maybe I see like a nearly finished project, a seasonally appropriate project, or maybe something that would make a great gift for someone else in my life. So any one of those reasons are sometimes really inspiring for me to finish a whip. Okay, so that's tip number one. It looks like a few more of you guys are here. Like Linda from Iowa. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Becky is here, but her internet is choppy because of stormy weather. That's okay. The replay is always just as good if you can't stick around. Beth Nelson is here, and Becky is checking in from Tennessee. If you guys dig this chat while you're watching live or on the replay, do me a favor, tag a crochet friend in the comments, or maybe share this video in just one place you enjoy crochet if you think they'll totally dig this too. And as always, if you are watching and if you've not said hey or hello yet, go ahead and post that and I'll get to you as soon as I see you. Okay, so tip number 2 of 3. Again, when you click on the link in the video description, there is more information on this topic today, but also there's some resources, especially this one. You guys are not going to want to miss this. So when I'm low on crochet motivation and I'm ready to kind of get back into it, but I'm not really sure where to start, sometimes I just like to try a new stitch. I've been crocheting for over 30 years and there are tons. There's a very narrow path of things that I crochet. I love to try new stitches. I love to try new things, but I definitely have a comfort zone. And I talk a little bit about this in the article. I think that lots of people have a comfort zone. There are certain things that we like to crochet, and there's certain stitches and certain fabrics and certain yarns and certain hooks. And sometimes maybe crocheting in that comfort zone, it might lead to you having a lack of crochet motivation. It's kind of like same old, same old. That definitely happens to me. So when I say try a new stitch, think about what your comfort zone is. Think about the kinds of things that you crochet. And maybe you just need to kind of flip through a resource to see if something inspires you. So I have some resources for you guys to view, some free stitch tutorials, some free patterns. Again, click on the link in the video description. So maybe you want to learn something like puff stitches, like bobble stitches, like crochet cables, really skinny cables or really big fat cables. Maybe you want to learn basket weave. Maybe you want to learn the waffle stitch. Maybe you want to learn textured stitches like the linen or the sedge stitch. Maybe you don't know any of those names, but you're like, I know it when I see it. That's kind of how I am sometimes, especially when stitches have, one stitch can have more than one name. Sometimes you're like, I don't know what I don't know. I just need something different. So when I say try a new stitch, don't get big and ambitious, big project, I'm going to make a blanket. Don't do that to yourself, because if you're low on motivation, you don't want to stifle that by starting a whip that you're never going to finish, and then you're in that cycle again, and then you put it aside and you're like, I don't know what to do with my life. So when I say try a new stitch, definitely check out the stitch videos that I'm going to share with you, because they're quick, they're punchy to the point, and they create very specific swatches that are like less than 10 inches. They're probably like 6 inches by like maybe 4 inches, something like that. And the reason I love stitch swatches is that you're just learning something new. And it doesn't matter how long you've been crocheting. I've been crocheting for a long time. The first time you make something new, it's not going to be your most perfect work. It's not going to be your best representation of that. And that's okay. You know, you're learning new things, you're counting, you're, you know, what stitch, where, skipping, all of that. So sometimes you're paying so much attention to the instructions that you haven't quite gotten the uniformity of what your stitches in your fabric could be. So, and that's okay. So it's not supposed to be perfect. It's not supposed to be best ever. You are not making a blanket. You are just trying something new. Now, often whenever I just commit to trying a new stitch and making a little swatch, sometimes it's fun for me to try a stitch in different yarn colors. Maybe I'll do a solid, maybe I'll do a multicolored, maybe I'll do a heathered. Maybe I do a worsted weight, maybe I do something a little bit smaller, just a tiny bit, maybe I'll do something a little bit larger. Sometimes I like to swatch things in like a weight 5 yarn just to kind of really get a feel for it. And sometimes, you know, I want to practice in addition to stitches, you can also practice techniques. So maybe it's a really cool stitch that really can be enhanced by color changes or striping. Maybe you want to work on your color changing techniques, sewing in ends, weaving in ends, and then maybe you're like, okay, I got this little swatch, let me try a border or something like that. So one thing, learning a new stitch, can lead to other things. And then before you know it, you're done with this little, you know, 6 by 6 inch swatch. And you feel really motivated to try something else, whether it's with that stitch or maybe something else. So anyway, that's tip number 2. All right, I don't see any more hays or hellos, so that means you guys are super here and invested in every word that I'm saying, which is great. I love it. So if you guys are just now joining, come on over, say hey, say hello, tell me where you're viewing from. The topic of today is about crochet motivation, and today I'm just sharing 3 tips, 3 things that I like to do and that I share with others if they're low on crochet motivation and they're just looking for like a quick win just to kind of get back into crochet. So I've already gone through 2 tips and I've got 1 more tip, and then the floor is going to be open. If you guys have any questions, comments, feedback, or if you just want to talk more about crochet motivation, I'm here for you. All right? Okay, so tip number 3, there are layers to this, and you can go as deep or as shallow as you want in this realm. I definitely do all the things. This is a very broad tip here, okay? So again, you can bear with me. I'm going to give you the spectrum, but don't feel like it has to be this big complicated thing. Okay, when you have lost your crochet motivation, my 3rd tip for you is to pick a yarn and make a project. Now, when I say that, and I said there's a spectrum here. There's, you know, they could be really shallow, it can be really deep. I'm just going to give you the whole plate of spaghetti. All right, here it is. So when I say pick a yarn, make a project, kind of like going through your whip piles, go through the yarn that you have on hand. If you're like me, again, you don't have everything all in one place. I definitely have yarn over here, I have yarn over there, I have yarn down here, I have yarn that I haven't sorted yet that I got on vacation, I have yarn that was on sale, I have yarn over here. I mean, yarn is everywhere. Whenever we're out and we're buying yarn, it's like, ooh, I need this, it's so exciting, I'm so inspired, I'm going to make all the things, or I don't know what I'm going to make with it, but I can't leave home. Or I can't go home without this, I can't leave the store without this yarn. So at one time, whatever yarn that you have on hand, it inspired you in some way. You had to have it. So going through the yarn that you have, maybe you're organizing it, maybe you're sorting it, maybe you're kind of, you know, organizing it in different ways. Whatever your method is, whatever you'd like to do with your yarn, actually go through it. Now, okay, so you're going through your yarn and maybe some yarn really inspires you. Maybe you have one cake or one hank, one fancy hank that you got at that local yarn store while you were, you know, in that fancy, you know, town that you went to. I'm daydreaming here like I'm in a Lifetime movie. Sorry. So anyway, we've all romanticized that, you know, the one skein of yarn that we can't live without, that, you know. So I feel like everyone kind of has that. That's what I'm saying. So so you find maybe a skein or 2 of yarn. You're like, man, I forgot I had this, some sweet yarn. Okay, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So what now? So one of my favorite things to do, and again, click on the link in the video description, there's instructions that will walk you through this. What I like to do is I like to go to Ravelry. Go to Ravelry, you're gonna log in, there's a menu at the top. That menu has yarn in it, so I mean just click yarn in the menu. And then once you click that, there's gonna be a search box, and it's gonna say search for, and you're gonna type in whatever yarn you have on hand. So here I got one right here. So let's say you've got this yarn, you're like, I got one of these, I love it, what do I do with this one yarn? So what you're gonna type in is the yarn brand, this is Knit Picks, and the type. This particular type is Dishy. So you're gonna type in the brand and the type. So that's what that means. So Knit Picks, Dishy. Maybe it's Lion Brand, Touch of Linen, right? So you're gonna type that in, and it's gonna come up with search results for you. And what I love, it's a love-hate with Ravelry. If you're not familiar with it, it can feel really overwhelming. So you can do all the things on Ravelry, but you don't have to do all the things on Ravelry. For this particular thing, let's just go back to this. Okay, I'm there, I've typed in Knit Picks Dishy. What it's gonna do is it's going to show you the yarn, okay? So you're like, okay, here's the yarn, here's all the stats on the yarn, great, fantastic. Somewhere within that page, it depends on if you're viewing from your smartphone, a mobile device, a tablet, your desktop, whatever, however you're viewing it, it may look a little different. So what you're going to do is look for projects. You're going to see that somewhere, okay? And if it's a yarn like, Knit Picks Dishy, you're probably going to see like 81,000 projects, which can feel a little overwhelming, but click on that, okay? Now from there, you can sort through those projects based on the exact amount of yarn you have, the exact color yarn you have, and then also category. So that's where it gets really magical. So let's say I just have this one skein and that's it, and I just want to make something with this one particular skein of yarn. Once I click on projects, then I can sort through and say I only want to see projects that use one skein or 190 yards or less. So only show me projects that have that. And then from there, you're probably already going to see, okay, one skein projects or less with this particular yarn. What are most people doing with this? I mean, this, for example, is cotton. So I'm probably going to see some very small bags. I'm probably going to see washcloths. But I may see some other things with this particular yarn that are really different and interesting that I would have never thought of before. And, maybe I see like, oh man, look at that wine tote. Look at that plastic bag holder. Look at that sweater for my pet ferret. I don't know. You might see something there that you're like, wow, I see a project made with this exact yarn. So I already love this yarn. And after 30 seconds, not minutes, it should not take you that long of searching. After 30 seconds of searching, I found some really cool things that I can make with this. So I think that this particular, example is, it's cotton yarn, it's one skein. Most of us may look at this and go, I think I know what to do with this. But the reason I love this search, tip is that sometimes there may be a yarn in your stock that you're less familiar with because maybe you have, okay, here's another terrible example, but Karen cotton cakes, right? You may buy this in the store because you love it and it's beautiful, but then you take it home and go, what do I do with this? So this is another great example of what are other people doing with this? What patterns are already out there that are going to, and what does it look like? Maybe I thought I wanted to make a summer tank top in this yarn in this color, but then I see it worked up and I'm like, I don't like the way the colors stripe in a tank. Maybe I don't want to do that, but I love it in a bag. So it can be really fun and inspiring. And the reason I say start with the yarn and do this particular kind of search is that you already have the yarn on hand. You're already inspired. You want to make something with this. So doing that little bit of legwork and searching for things that people have already made using the exact yarn in the exact amount that you have, I mean, it can lead you to crocheting things that maybe you would have never thought of, or that are going to work so well with the yarn that it's really just going to maybe lead you down a new category of things that you would have never thought of. So anyway, I've always been really pleasantly surprised, and I've found a lot of joy in just the process of searching through my yarn and searching through Ravelry. That typically kind of helps me get back my crochet motivation. All right, guys, those are my 3 tips in order. Tip number 1, in case you guys are just now joining us, finish a whip. I talked more about it in the beginning. Tip number 2, try a new stitch. Tip number 3, I just went over it, pick a yarn, make a project. And that was a spectrum of things. So, you know, really kind of gave you tons of different opportunities to get inspired. Hetty Sanchez, thank you so much for being here. Beth Nelson, of course, is here. Shelly is here. Love your hair, so cute. Thank you. I appreciate it. It was another reason I was super inspired to come here and share more on this article today. Again, this is a chat that I've given plenty of times through the years. I was actually just looking at a chat that I gave on this topic. I'll link it below, and that way you guys can see it. I gave this chat probably like 4 or 5 years ago. You can see I have really long hair back then, and it's still the same great tips. I mean, these are things that I've been doing for a really, really long time, and they work really well for me. But again, I mean, what I love about the crochet community is you guys always surprise me with some amazing things. So if you found any of these tips to be helpful, let me know in the comments. If you guys have any tips that help you get your crochet motivation back, please go ahead and post them in the comments. I'd love to see them. And if you want everyone to see them, click on over to the article, link down below, leave me a comment, and you can share your knowledge and wisdom with others. They'd love to see it too. Let's see, Gail says, great tips. I've been in a summer slump. Thanks for the help. My pleasure. I hope that this is helpful. I feel like there's no one particular time of year that we're more so in a slump than others. So really, I hope that these are relevant anytime. And if you're in any kind of crochet rut, if you are lacking crochet motivation in any way, you have to make a blanket for someone, you need to make a gift for someone, you've got a craft fair coming up, you just love crochet and you want to get back to it for any reason, hopefully these tips really help you. So if they do, let me know. All right, guys, I don't see any other questions, comments, feedback, which means that I just answered all of your questions and you guys are blown away. Yes? No? Okay, anyway. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching. It's always a pleasure and a joy to be here. Remember to share this with at least one friend. Tag them in the comments and share this in one place you enjoy crochet. All right? Peace, love, crochet, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.